The old Victorian house stood on a hill overlooking a sleepy town. John as Ethan. It was supposed to be our dream home. Emily. We were so excited to start a new chapter in our lives. John, Ethan, and I had spent months searching for the perfect place, and this house, despite its age, felt perfect. The moving truck arrived early, filled with boxes containing their past. John, he couldn't wait to turn this old house into our home. Emily, I shared his enthusiasm, though a shiver ran down my spine each time the wind whistled through the eaves. They spent the first few days unpacking and settling in. Emily. The house was full of character, with its creaking floorboards and antique fixtures. Each room held the promise of new beginnings, yet there was an underlying chill to the air, a sense of unseen eyes watching their every move. One humid afternoon, Ethan suggested they explore the basement. John, it's probably full of treasures, he joked, grabbing a dusty old flashlight. The basement door was heavy, hidden behind a pile of moving boxes. Emily, it took both of us to pull it open, the rusty hinges groaning in protest. A wave of stale, musty air hit them, thick with the scent of decay. Emily, cobwebs draped the stairwell, and the only light came from the single bare bulb hanging precariously from the ceiling. John, you first, Ethan said, his usual enthusiasm dimmed by the oppressive atmosphere. Each step down felt heavy, like descending into the belly of the earth. Emily, the air grew colder, and the silence was broken only by the sound of our own breathing. As they reached the bottom, Ethan swung the flashlight around, revealing a dirt floor and crumbling stone walls. And then they saw it. Emily. A section of the wall, hidden in shadow, appeared to be different. Closer inspection revealed the outline of a door, barely discernible beneath layers of grime and cobwebs. John, what do you think? Ethan whispered, his voice echoing unnaturally in the stillness. Curiosity warred with a primal instinct to leave it well enough alone. Emily. The door felt wrong, out of place in the already unsettling basement. But the lure of the unknown, the possibility of uncovering a secret hidden for decades, proved too strong to resist. Emily, with bated breath, we began to clear away the debris. The door, made of thick, rotting wood, was held shut by a rusted padlock. Emily, Ethan managed to force it open with a crowbar, and the door swung inward with a low creak that sent chills down my spine. A blast of cold, damp air rushed out, carrying with it the faint scent of something earthy and ancient. Emily, the flashlight beam struggled to pierce the darkness beyond the threshold, revealing a narrow passage leading into the unknown. Emily, this is crazy, I whispered, my voice trembling. But Ethan was already stepping through the doorway, his hand outstretched for hers. Emily, the tunnel was narrow, barely wide enough for us to walk side by side. The air grew colder and damper with each step, the silence broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing off the stone walls. Emily, the flashlight flickered, casting distorted shadows that danced and writhed around us. As they ventured deeper, the air became heavy, almost suffocating. Emily, I felt a growing sense of unease. a feeling that we had stumbled into something we were not meant to find. The tunnel seemed to stretch on forever, twisting and turning deeper into the earth. The tunnel opened into a small circular chamber. The air was thick and still, heavy with an oppressive silence that seemed to press down on us. John, in the center of the chamber stood a stone pedestal upon which rested a single ornate box. We approached cautiously, drawn in by a strange compulsion. Emily, as we neared the pedestal, the silence was shattered by a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the chamber. The flashlight flew from Ethan's grasp, plunging us into darkness. John! Panic surged through me. I reached out for Ethan, my fingers closing around empty air. Mysterious voice. Another scream pierced the darkness, followed by the sound of something heavy dragging across the stone floor. I could feel its hot, fetid breath on my face, smell the stench of decay, and something else, something ancient and evil.
Terror lent me speed. I stumbled back the way we had come, my heart pounding in my chest. The darkness was all-consuming, the air thick with fear and the stench of the unknown.
I could hear Ethan calling my name, his voice a desperate plea in the suffocating blackness. I fumbled for his hand, my fingers brushing against his.
We ran blindly, our only thought escape. The tunnel seemed to stretch on forever, but finally, we burst through the hidden door and back into the relative safety of the basement.
We slammed the door shut and leaned against the rough wood, gasping for breath. The silence of the basement, once oppressive, now felt like a sanctuary. We were safe for now.
The police were skeptical, to say the least. Our descriptions of the tunnel, the chamber, the screams, and the thing were met with raised eyebrows and thinly veiled amusement.
They searched the basement, of course, but found nothing. The hidden door, it seemed, had vanished.
We tried to explain the overwhelming sense of dread, the feeling of being watched, the certainty that something was down there, lurking in the darkness. But our words sounded hollow, even to our own ears.
We were dismissed as victims of stress and an overactive imagination, but we knew the truth. We had seen the tunnel, felt the cold, oppressive air, heard the screams that still echoed in our nightmares.
And we knew, with chilling certainty, that whatever we had unleashed down there was not finished with us. We tried to move on, to put the experience behind us, but the house held onto the memory of that night. Strange noises echoed from the walls. Shadows danced at the edge of our vision. The feeling of being watched never truly went away.
We considered selling the house, moving far away from the horrors we had unearthed. But we were held captive by the unanswered questions, by the chilling possibility that something might still be lurking beneath the surface of our lives.
Life went on, in a way. We learned to live with the fear, the uncertainty. We avoided the basement, the very thought of it sending shivers down our spines. But the experience had changed us, left an indelible mark on our souls. We are left to wonder, to speculate about the origins of the tunnel, the purpose of the chamber, the nature of the entity we encountered. We are left to grapple with the knowledge that there are things in this world that defy explanation, things that lurk in the shadows, just beyond the reach of our understanding. And we are left with the chilling realization that we may never know the full extent of what we unleashed that night in the darkness beneath our home.